Hey guys, so I went ahead and changed out these springs. They're called torsion springs, and 207-26. They happen to be 3/4 inch versus the 2 inch, and so I'm just kind of giving you an idea. There's the red side. This here, and this one. This is the new one, but I ended up getting the 2 inch, hoping that I could get the a little more power off of it to install. So this is the red end as well, and you can see this is the silver end or gray end, whatever color you want to call it. Oh, this one happens to be black. So got those on there, and as you're facing the garage from the inside, these are actually flipped like this. They're actually flipped like this. So as you're looking at the garage from the inside, maybe I should have been a little more prepared to do this, but this is the silver or black one, and that goes on the right side as you're facing the garage from standing inside the garage, not outside the house. So this one is black too. It's got red nuts on it, but it's black. So you need, I happen to use a small crescent wrench, like one of the little 4-inch crescent wrenches that I have in my smaller socket set. I have a little bag with a bunch of sockets in it. If I have it, I'll show it to you. You can see my car's a mess. There's so much stuff in here. This is my little socket bag, and inside my bag a bunch of little tools. This was a waste of money. I never should have bought it, but I think I got it on sale for like $6 or something. This tool here I'm very happy with. It's a Harbor Freight tool, and it does this whole gimbaling thing, which is really good. It's all I need. This one, again, was a waste of money. It's a little bit longer, so you can get a little more torque. I mean, actually, now as I look at it, it doesn't look like too much more. So anyways, all these sockets here are hardened 1/4 inch, and I tend to use these more than anything else. I don't even carry a 3/8 socket set. They're all 1/4 inch drive, as you can see on this one here. Okay, but this is that crescent wrench that I told you that I used, and so you can see all just the stuff that I have in here. This generally lives inside my bit box. It shouldn't be here, but I used it the other day and it ended up in here the other day. So this happens to be 7/16. I'm going to put it back in here. I love these little socket holders. You have to turn it to pull it out, and once you put it in, you click it in, and it won't come out anymore. Over time, unfortunately, it does wear out, but I mean, I've had these about 3 years or so. This was my standard set, and the holder is actually that long. You can see it's broken there. So I ended up cutting both of these. You can see where I cut the edges here, just because it was too long. I didn't need all that extra linear space to hold the sockets. So see, these are just kind of the sockets that have fallen out. This should be in my bit holder. This is to convert 3/8 to 1/4 inch drive. I can put just a regular ratchet on there, and these sockets are hardened, so they're super hard. You can put a decent amount of pressure on them. All these other bolts and nuts, I don't really like to carry all this stuff in here, but over time, obviously, I do a job and I just leave it in there. Woodruff key. Oh, converter from 3/4 to 3/8. So you can see all this stuff that I have in here. I'm gonna go and just take all this stuff out, because I'll never look for this in here, because it's not supposed to be in here. I'll never think to look in this bag for this stuff. So this whole video is not supposed to be on any of this stuff I'm showing you right now. But like, this needs to go back in that socket set. This needs to go in the bit box. This is not anything that goes in here. Cool. So I do carry extensions in this. Those do stay in here. This is a cheap one, and I think it's already twisted. But this is a hardened one that I ended up buying from Napa. NPT, I don't know if that's a Napa brand, This here is Great Neck, so I think that's AutoZone. But these are the tools that I carry in this bag here. This is obviously not something I carry in here. I have to take it out just so I can get rid of this dust. This is one of the little socket holders. So that's it. Cool. So anyways, I've opened up that whole bag just to show you this. That lives in there. That lives in there. A little vice grip lives in there. So all my little tools that have come in handy doing just random stuff, and I can grab this bag and know that I can pretty much take apart most components in a vehicle, take out a battery, a bunch of stuff, especially because these components are really strong. My extensions need to go in there, and then that thing's such a waste of space. I don't know why I bought it. I hate these regular ratchets. I did get it because it did this movement here, but with this, I mean, that's sufficient to do everything I need. So this is a Duralast. I bought it and I don't think I've ever technically used it. It really just needs to stay out of the bag. Now I can close it a little easier because I got a few things out of there, but it's kind of a problem having all these tools. So back to the idea of these torsion bars. You can see this torsion bar is thicker than this one. This happens to be a 2-inch interior diameter, and this is a 1.75 inch interior diameter, or 1 3/4. It's 1 3/4, and this is a 2-inch. And as far as the length is concerned, this one happens to be what it says here, 27-inch. This is the red side. And this one happens to be a 28-inch. So what you're supposed to do is twist these things. So as you're looking at your garage from standing inside the house or inside the garage, the red one goes on the left and the black one goes on the right. You get these here and you twist it up, like literally. Just go here, move it up. You get your next one, put it in there, pull this one out, and you go up. You see how easy that came out? That's the reason, you know, all these garage door guys say it's so dangerous. It does slip out, and actually at one point it did slip out, and it hit my hand right there as I was trying to get a better position. So luckily I didn't have any turns on it, but it does definitely add a little fear factor to it. So once you get it in here again, grab this one, pull it out, bring this one up, and just do it again. And for this one here, I try to substitute this piece for this one, putting 20 turns on this one and 20 turns on that one. And so the problem is, way out here on the side, there's a pulley with a string on it, a metal string. And the string wasn't wrapping around that pulley enough to wrap itself up and pull some tension on that garage door. And so once the garage door got just about done, I was like the last 18 inches of the door opening, the wire itself came off the darn pulley. So it was way too much torque on this, and it was actually lifting the door up already. So it was too powerful. So I ended up having to go back to the original size. So that's kind of why the video I'm making is being made, because I was trying to explain that idea that all this junk in here. Sorry about that, guys. It's really not going to change, to be honest with you, because I carry so much stuff in here. I was looking for the broken half, which is basically from here to here on that device, and it has the exact same end. And again, this is the N20726 by 1 3/4 inch interior diameter is what they call it. This is a 1-inch interior diameter, but on the inside of it, it's 2-inch on this side and a 1 3/4 inch, or 1.75. So I was able to wind this thing 31 times. It's not technically 31 rotations. It's 31 inserts of this pry bar. You can buy this pry bar separately, and everybody always suggests you buy it. I did at one point use another random bar, which was my little paint mixer bar. You can see how long it is. This is not the same hardened metal as that, so it definitely was adding a little danger. But all I used it for was to use it as a retention spring, so I could leave technically that side with tension, put my retainer bar, hold it, take this bar, these two bars, take this bar and this bar, and come to the right side and use both of them here. So if that makes sense at all, I needed these two here. So after I torsioned that one down, bolted it down, I grabbed this bar because it had torsion on it. It had torsion technique holding down. I grabbed my second bar, pulled it up, held it with my hand, pulled this one out, put this device, let go of the tension, and let go of the rod. And now I freed up both of these bars while the tension was being held by this one. Then I came over here, and there's no right order. You can do left or right. I just happened to start on the left. I came over here and did one turn, turned it. This was a second turn. Pulled it out. This is going to be my third turn. Pull it out. So every time I stuck this bar and I counted it. This is my fourth turn. Pulled this one out. This is my fifth turn. Pull it out. And eventually I did 31 turns. So on the 31st turn, I left the pressure and this bar was left in place. I took this one out and I tightened it down from here and here. And I'm guessing you can use a 12-point socket. All my sockets are 6 points. So you can look in here and see there's only 6 sides to this socket. So it's less likely to strip all the nuts and bolts that I pull out. So I very specifically looked for 6-point sockets. I did not want 12-point sockets. But a 12-point socket should be able to get your square in there if you have one. My buddy. Anyways, that's the video. I just wanted to show that you tighten down these bolts here against the bracket that's in the center. Tighten them down. It's only 2 points down there. And right here, right here, right here, and right here. So once you get those 2 bolts in, there's a bracket against the wall. Change them out. There is a pulley on both sides, on this side and on this side, and you loosen them the same way with these little nuts. Once you loosen them, the entire bar will come out, slide out. So I'm kind of jumping around, but once you loosen these bolts, those 2 bolts that are here, those 2 nuts, oh, I'm sorry, bolts, and the 2 bolts that are on the pulleys, this one, and on this one, there's a bar that holds all this in place. Once you get all that loosened up, this thing will move on the bar. So you grab the bar and you move it all the way to one side, and you shift one side and replace these. Grab the bar, you pull it to this side, you pull all this stuff out, and you replace it. And it's that easy. Just take pictures of everything that you do. It's not that hard. And that's really it. So with these 2-inch interior diameters, I did about 20 turns. Just a poke, turn it, a poke, turn it, that counts as 2. Turn it, poke, counts as 3, turn it, another poke, counts as 4. So I did that 20 times, and it was too much. It was lifting the whole gate up. But with these more slender ones, it had less pressure, so it allowed more turns, meant the pulley can wrap around and get the entire string up on that pulley. And it worked out great. Adjusted, I had to go back and actually go down from 31 to 29 because it was too much tension on these still, that it wasn't letting the garage door down all the way. And it worked out. So I ended up replacing both the right side and the left side of the garage doors. And so again, you go from down, up, and it'll be pretty obvious because if you take a picture before you take everything apart, those pulleys there, the rope comes up from the back side and wraps around, which means that if this is rotated this way, it's gonna want to unravel this way. And it does that. As it does that, it's gonna keep on winding that rope up. Make sure that rope is lined up with the edge. You got a small opening, and that rope, that metal wire's got to fall right between the garage door and the brackets. And so both sides of this garage were rubbing against the doors, and so I had to adjust the right side, actually take it apart and move it over. And this side here, I really had to be careful on how I wrapped the wire around the pulley, because it was rubbing against the door too, which was causing problems. And so I think the initial problem was this side, that pulley was the wire was rubbing against the door, and so it gets snagged, meaning this side had more pressure on it. And so this side was doing more of the work, if you will, as that door kept on getting lower from level down. And so over time, this is the second spring it's broken. So watch your cables, make sure they line up with the little gap, and that's really it. If the door doesn't open or close, feel free to give it one more wind, tighten it all back down. One thing you do have to keep in mind is how deep your bolts go into this, because you can see you almost have to make a mental note of how far down this is. For example, there's a bar that goes in here, and it's a shallow bar, super cheap bar, and if you go that far into that hole, you're gonna end up bending the bar. So realistically, you don't need this bolt to go more than just that. And you'll see that the bar is bent. And let me show you that I ended up having to see, there's a hammer mark there, and there's Mars here too, because the bar was already smashed. It wasn't round anymore. So you can see there's hammer marks there and there. I had to hit it with the hammer to get it past the this is the hammer I use. I don't even know if I have a carpentry hammer in this car, with the claw foot hammer. That's the hammer I use to just do stuff. Hit it a couple times and it'll do what you want it to do. All right, so this is a long enough video. That's all I want to show. Thanks for watching.